Hi, it's Teisha Powell with Red White Truth. So you like shows like this? Not a problem. We're on social media. We're not on Twitter. We're on Instagram. Our information just popped up. We're on Gab. Information just popped up as well. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. All the information for our social media is being popped up. And you know what? The old-fashioned way. What about just going to our webpage? insurancelawyertish.com. Yeah, I still practice law, but you know what? I'm excited and I just want to bring to you more of these shows. If you want to see more of these programs, reach out to us on social media. We are looking forward to hearing from you. All right? So get us on social media. We're not on Twitter. We're on YouTube, Facebook, and we're on all others. All the information pop up. We'll see you real soon. Hi, it's Teisha Powell, and coming up on today's Talk Time, we're covering three major topics. First, we have around 800 banks, according to analysts, that probably going to fail in the United States. We've had Silicon Bank that went, we had the Signature Bank, and we had a third bank, and they busted. It's bigger than what happened in 2008. What does this mean for consumers in America and the world? We are going to tell you. And the debt ceiling. Should President Joe Biden raise the debt ceiling, or should he leave it alone? Should President Joe Biden go ahead and invoke the 14th Amendment? We'll give you our commentary. And woke is a joke. Governor DeSantis of Florida is now raffling heads with the woke culture. What is it that woke is obsessed with the black culture? And should the black population follow the woke joke? Or is this just another secular thing that's going to go ahead and destroy the family and faith that blacks have been living in? All this and more, but first, these messages. You do not want to miss the next 12 minutes on Talk Time with Teisha. Folks, subscribe. We are bringing to you the latest commentary. From law to media, Teisha Powell has got you covered. For more on this, we'll be back. Watch these, subscribe now, do not touch this dial. We'll tell you what the debt ceiling means for your pocket. All this and more coming up. Hi, I'm Teisha Powell. Thanks so much for tuning back in, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So back, we're talking to the audience. We've had in the 2023, we had three major banks to fail under President Joe Biden, big government. And folks, this is not a joke. This is not something to panic about. We are in the United States. We are still the greatest nation in the world. There are 4,500 banks. So even if we lose 800 banks more, which you're predicting that we're going to lose, we're going to be okay. But inflation is going to keep going on. So it's going to drag along. And the issue is like, why is there a correlation between when big government comes in and bank failures, you might be asking? You know, back in 2008, when I wrote my book, The Homeowner's Guide to Surviving Foreclosure, I was an attorney back then, security lawyer, handling banking. And President Obama was in power and the banking system failed. People lost their homes. I mean, people my age, I'm 47 years old in the United States. People my age got wiped out. Young people my age got wiped out. Anytime big government comes in, banking gets crashes. It just crashes. It's just natural cycle. Big government is socialism, guys. Big government wants to provide for you. Big government don't want you to work. Small government wants faith and family. So I'm just telling you that in order to balance out what's going on in the banking system, you want to get smaller government. Once big government is in, they over-regulate. And when you over-regulate these banks, they're going to crash. Not only that, Treasury was at 2%. I mean, how 2%? How are these banks going to make a profit when the Treasury was at 2% and now interest rate is on its way up at 8%? That's a difference of 6%. I mean, you don't need a rocket science to figure this out. If somebody loan you money at 2 and it goes to 6, you're out at 4. That's messed up. And President Biden and the big government, they know what's going on. And these banks are just going to be shutting down. And thank God we're in America where things are safe and we're in the second or first best country in the world. But we're going to feel the inflation. It's going to rattle on. Things are going to cost more for a long period of time, probably the next 5-10 years. But we do know that banking failure in America really comes around in when big government is about. And there's a correlation. I mean, let's look back. Obama, bank failures, 1937, it was a big government, Roosevelt. And from banking, we're going on to the debt ceiling and the woke culture. Subscribe now for more shows like this. We'll be back after this. Hi, it's Teisha. Welcome back to Talk Time. So I wanted to educate young people on, civics, because as an attorney, I've worked, in government, and I've handled government cases, and, we learned the Constitution while in law school. So I went from law to media. So the first thing you want to know is, what is a debt ceiling? So as you know, President Biden, he's president of the United States, and the debt ceiling is a big topic now in DC. And this is good for young people to learn, because we can learn about money. So the debt ceiling gives the government the power to borrow money. So borrowing money is never a good thing. It has to be done, but it has to be done responsibly. All right, you can't borrow money you can't pay back. You have to try to renegotiate your debt, and it comes with a lot of stress as well. And if you take on too much debt, then you're going to water down your lifestyle, and you could stay poor. So what we have in this country, in America, is a huge consumption. Americans love credit, and there's nothing wrong with credit. So is our government. Our government are, these people that are raised in America, they too love credit. But credit can be dangerous. And when we see with big government, it's a runaway inflation. I mean, big government means that there's multiple people running in different directions. It's madness. And the whole point of big government is to take from the whole population, because there are certain people in Congress that wants to change America into a socialist country. Right now, America is a capitalist country, and some people are not happy, because in a capitalist country, the more you work is the more you're paid, or the more ideas you bring is the more you're paid. But what about the ones who do not have ideas? What about them? Well, then that's the problem with capitalism. Some are floating at the top, some are floating at the bottom. So people would like to have a socialism society where everybody's equal. Now, if you read the Bible, you will see what Jesus said. The poor will always be with us, AOC. Everybody is equal in terms of we are one person with one soul. But in terms of talent, we all have different talents, and government can never make everybody equal. This is a trick, young people. Big government wants to stay in power, and they're going to tell us that they can make us equal. They cannot make us equal. Everybody was born with a different talent. The government is going to take our money, and they're going to run with it. That's what they're going to do, young people. They're going to run. Big government is going to tax us to death, young people. It's a trick. Do not let big government stay in power forever. You've got to look at the small government. It represents faith, it represents family, it represents small business owners, it represents healthcare, it represents good school. That's what you want to go with. You don't want to go with the big fat government that represents corporations, lobbyists, and politicians who just want to be in office for the rest of their lives. Back to the debt ceiling. If President Joe Biden raised the debt ceiling, then that means we're going to borrow more money. Isn't it better for President Biden just to balance the budget? But guess what? The New York senator and the California senator, both Democrats or Congress people, New York and California are like the most liberal state, and Pelosi controls the California one. In order for Pelosi and Schumer to win, they have to bring a lot of money to those states, because those states are the states that are the most socialist in America. If you go to California right now, there's over 500,000 homeless people there, and California is the biggest socialist part of in America. They give away money, but what do people do? They go on drugs. So when the more money that the government give people, the more they're going on drugs. So that's what's going on in California. But the government doesn't care. The government just want to be in power for the rest of their lives. So Nancy Pelosi really destroyed California, and now she's in Washington trying to destroy the country. And that's why we have shows like this, to show young people and to show people on a whole that big government just not our thing, I mean, our thing is us, we're in this for ourselves. We want our families to be okay. We want faith. We want jobs. We want healthcare. We want good schools. And the only person who could give that to you is small government. So whether you're black, white, whatever color you are, whatever nationality you are, wherever there's a small government, that's the one you want to side with, because the less people that have power is the better it is for you. The more people have power is the worse it is for you, because power corrupts the absolute mind. I didn't say that. Somebody did. Some great philosopher said it. But power does corrupt. And because power corrupts, you don't want it in the hands of many. You want it in the hands of few. Okay? So what I've been trying to say is that the debt ceiling should not be raised. We should balance the budget. The Democratic Party, the big government, they want to invoke the 14th Amendment. They want President Biden just to raise the debt ceiling because those people want to be able to continue with the socialist programs. They have promised all these people that they're going to live free for the rest of their lives. So that's what they have to do, is keep racking up the bill. And they don't care. They're in their 40s, 50s. They've got 50 more years to go. They give it on to the kids and the grandkids. The money isn't free. Money doesn't grow on tree. Our federal government, the people in the government really believe that money grows on trees, but it doesn't. It's not an illusion. You have to get up every day and you have to work for your money 5 days a week. So since it don't grow on a tree, we should just balance the budget, probably, President Biden. Have you thought about balancing the budget, big government? Is it a scary word? Budget, balance? Maybe that's what you need to do then. Raise the debt ceiling. We keep borrowing, and we're borrowing from China. That's what we're borrowing from, China and Japan. All right, we're America borrowing more money. And so they're going to own more money and the inflation is going to keep going on. They're saying that they're trying to get the housing market to come down. Young people, save your money today. All right, you have to catch the housing market. The housing market isn't going to catch you. So what I'll tell young people is put money away. Start saving $5, $10 a month. Put it in a mutual funds. Put money away. You'll be surprised. $100 a month. That's $1,200 in a year. 5 years compound interest. You'll be surprised. FHA is 3% down. The average home is what, $400, $12,000. Put your money. You can catch the market. They're stretching out the mortgages for 40 years. But to say that the government can help you to get a house is an illusion. The government does not and will not help anybody to get a home. Government is only out for itself. So why are all these politicians so wealthy and the people so poor? That's what I want to ask young people. It's a trick. The politicians are tricky people. They just want power. And big government wants all the power in the world. And the more power you turn over to them is the less power you're going to have. I mean, government is powerful. You don't need to empower them anymore. The debt ceiling should not be raised. We don't need to be borrowing more money. We need to balance the budget. It's going to be a squeeze either way. They're saying that housing is going to go up 22% if the debt ceiling doesn't raise. But if the debt ceiling is raised, interest rate is still going to hit 8%. So how is a young person going to buy a home when interest rate hits 8%? So either way, the debt ceiling, we need to balance the budget. But that's scary because balancing the budget means that the government will have to stop spending. That's what we need, self-reliance. That's what we need, self-reliance and faith. Faith in family and faith in God. We don't need no more government handout here. We are capable of doing our work. President Biden, please do not raise the debt ceiling. We don't want to get in any more debt. We want to get out of debt. Let's try to balance the budget. Let's try to renegotiate. But why are we raising the debt ceiling when we're just going to owe more money to China? China is going to be the creditor and we'll be the debtor. And someday we'll be going from number one to number two. We don't want to be number two. We want to stay at number one. But, debt is very powerful. Debt is a destroyer. Debt is very addictive. And we just need to balance the budgets, Money does not fall from the sky. We'll be back up here to talk more about inflation and is the woke culture a joke. Subscribe now to Talk Time with Teisha. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Talk Time. I'm your host, Teisha Paul. Subscribe now. I have 2 minutes to go. Folks, we've got some shows lined up. We've got celebrities coming on, movie stars, singers, and analysts. So you want to come in, subscribe, tune in. And the woke is a joke. I know everybody's saying you're black. Woke, it was about black. Yes, let me just go real fast and then we'll go after this. The woke culture started to help blacks. It was from the Black Lives Matter. But then now it got hijacked by the transgender, the lesbians, and the gays. So we're back to secularism. People want to do what they want to do. They don't want to have faith and family. So the woke became a joke because it's no longer a black movement. We have been hijacked, black people, by the gays, the lesbians, and the transgender. So there is the only black movement for blacks is God. Okay? There is no more black movement for people here on earth. Only God, okay? Because the woke came to help the blacks, and now the gays, the transgender, and the lesbians hijacked it, and that's what's going on down in Florida. They're going to tell you that in Florida that DeSantis is against the blacks. That's not true. I lived in Florida. I've got a lot of black friends in Florida. DeSantis is not against any black. What he's against is the hijacking of political people on the woke culture. That's the problem we're having here. Anything that's good, it always gets destroyed. Blacks, the only person, there's a lot of injustice. I grew up in America. I've been here since I was 5. I've been coming here since I was 5. I went to school here. There is a lot of injustice in America. But I've learned, young people, I've learned to put my faith in God, not in man. Get away from the woke culture. Find yourself a good church. Go find a Bible. Give yourself to God. Forget what they're doing. They're playing games with you. They've hijacked it. The woke is now a joke. And go read your Bible, young people. God bless you all. We'll see you real soon.